record my March TBR jar challenge. Yeah, it's actually like over a week into March, but I couldn't do this earlier because of not being here. So yeah, I'm gonna do it now, and like I think I'm gonna be a bit more lenient like if I don't get to them, but also because I have been reading a couple books that are like on my sort of back TBR. Alright, so the first one I pulled is That's Love. This is exciting that I get to do it. The next one I got is The Rebel of the Family. And the last one is Money. So I've got That's Love and Other Stories by Leonora Brito, which is actually a short story collection that I have started, but I just kind of totally stopped because I wasn't like kind of vibing with it in a way that maybe I thought I would. I think that's great that it's on the TBR because it's quite short too. So I can definitely get to this. I'm going to definitely try and read it. And then the others were Money by Victoria Benedictson, translated from the Swedish by Sarah Daff, which I've talked about this a little bit already. It's from the 1880s. And also, interestingly, this is also from the 1880s. This is from 1880. And this is The Rebel of the Family by Eliza Lynn Linton. I actually am almost 100% sure I will not be reading this yet because I kind of plan to read it in October for Victober, and like it's, you know, not got very large font and it's quite a long book. So yeah. Because the other thing is as well, I've been getting like very much back into Tudors recently, which used to be like my obsession from when I was like 8 to 17, and then I realised that Hamlet was set in the 1590s as far as I know and can tell. So this is the book I'm probably going to read, which was one of the ones that I picked out, or like that Mari picked out, I think, that first for January, and I put it back. So if I do read this too, I would count it as like reading one of the choices, and then I'd just take it out. So yeah, I have already started it, but like very early days. I will check in again at the end of March / beginning of April and let you know how I've done. Bye! Hello! I could wait a couple more days to do this update, but I'm definitely not going to read more of the books that I picked in my TBR jar in the next like week or whatever it is until April starts. So yeah, here's my update for March. Oh my god. I did not pick up Money. I do have some plans to do an 1880s reading vlog, so I will be reading it for that, and I might read it in April for that. So yeah, but it will get read pretty soon. It's just I didn't get to it, and like I'm not going to read it in the rest of this month. Like I have a couple things that I'm reading, including a buddy read which I'm excited about. I did, however, read or finish reading That's Love and Other Stories by Leonora Brito, and I found them quite challenging and sort of unsatisfying in kind of like a Quicksand by Nella Larson way maybe. They all kind of are a bit about sort of like unsatisfied or like slightly off. Generally women, but not all of them. I mean, some of them are like historical fiction short stories, which is interesting to read. I don't know, it's quite a hard like collection. In the historical fiction ones, a lot of the characters are black characters, which is interesting. And then in the sort of more contemporary ones, a lot of them are like, you know, Afro-Welsh, or a lot of these, or like a bunch of them are also like often focused on like teenage girls, and there's quite a lot of like death. Yeah, like sickness and stuff. It's kind of intense, but I also felt like it just didn't quite work for me, and you know, maybe that's just because of the form. I think I did actually end up skipping a couple stories because I was just not interested in them, but I did read the majority. When I look at the thing page to see if any of them really stood out, there's like one of them that was like an 18th, I believe, century one that I liked, or thought was, because I don't think I liked any of these really, but you know, I thought I had some potentially like compelling ideas or themes or representations, and it's just, I feel like none of it is easy, and I do think that's kind of the point, I guess. Like it is supposed to be a bit challenging as kind of like a collection of work altogether, but also just the stories themselves, and often they do engage with like quite challenging people. You know, like mother-daughter relationships are really difficult in this, I would say, and also most family bonds. A mixed bag, but I am happy to have finished reading it. So that's a success. I did also read Hamlet by Maggie O'Farrell, so that's great, and like I said before, I am still kind of counting this as reading from my TBR jar pick because it was picked in January by Mari, and then I said I wasn't going to read it then, but obviously read it this month. And yeah, this was alright. I think it's laughable when people say it's not about Shakespeare, especially because of the ending, which I won't spoil, but just because it's not named in the text, which when I thought Maggie O'Farrell was doing it as a way to like actually descend him from the story, I thought that was like a fun thing to do, but he's not. He's very much like a part of this story, and maybe he's not like the main focal point because Agnes, his wife, is, but like he's literally still in it and is still important to it and guides where the narrative goes. So like, I don't know why people think this book isn't about Shakespeare, and I think that's a shame, you know. I think like if you're gonna be a bit cowardly about putting Shakespeare in a historical fiction book, then just don't do it and take him out, or do it properly. And accept that like you aren't just writing a story that's not about him. I don't know, like I would read this book if it wasn't about Shakespeare 100%, and I did not read it thinking that I was going to read about Shakespeare, but I did, so you can't argue that he's not that. And I just, yeah, I wasn't like that convinced. Like this is a book that did make me cry and wrote about grief beautifully and very sadly, but I feel like, I think I said this in a recent video, but like just because a book makes you cry doesn't mean it's automatically a really great book. So yeah, I did really like the fact that Agnes, at one point she gives birth in the woods, and I really liked that, and I really liked her as a protagonist and as kind of like a weirdo woman, a sort of outsider in the town and stuff. So not as like convincing or good as I had heard it was going to be or hoped it was going to be, but I did enjoy like visiting the Tudor world in this way, so that was also really nice. Also, I think it was really nice that I could just like redevelop this new interest, or like, you know, getting back into the Tudors, and then look at my bookshelves and pick a book that was set in the Tudor era. I really like the fact that I just, yeah, was able to do that, so that's really nice. So yeah, I would say another successful month, even though I didn't quite read the things that I picked this month. I feel like I'm really making some headway with my TBR. I mean, I also just bought a book today, but I have already read it, so... And actually, also today, I donated 2 of my books that I had read, partially from this project, to a local bookshop, so that's nice too. I think that's everything. Let me know if you've read these books and what you think about them, and I will talk to you when I next talk to you. Bye!